as the soldiers led him away, they seized Simon of Cyrene, who was coming in from the countryside. They made him carry the cross and follow along behind Jesus. A lot of people were following them, among them a group of women who were wailing and weeping. Jesus turned to them and said, "Daughters of Jerusalem, do not weep for me. Weep rather for yourselves and for your children. For the day is coming when you will say, 'Blessed is the woman who has never had children, the wombs that never bore, the breasts that never nursed.' For they will say to the mountains, 'Fall on us,' and to the hills, 'Cover us up.' For if this is what the people do when the tree is green, think what they will do when the tree is dry." Two other men, both criminals, were led out with him to be executed. When they came to the place called the Skull, they crucified him, with one criminal on his right hand and another criminal on his left hand. Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they do not know what they are doing." And they divided up his clothes by casting lots. Many people were watching. The leaders came up and they sneered at him. They said, "He saved others. Let him save himself if he is God's Messiah, the chosen one." The soldiers also came up and mocked him. They offered him wine vinegar, and they said, "If you are the king of the Jews, why don't you save yourself?" There was an inscription above him that said, "This is the King of the Jews." One of the criminals who hung there with him hurled insults at him. He said, "If you are the Messiah, why don't you save yourself and us?" But the other criminal who was also there rebuked the first criminal, and he said, "Don't you have any fear of God, seeing that we are sentenced to the same death? We're here justly condemned. We're here because of the deeds we have done. And yet this man has done nothing wrong." Then he said, "Jesus, when you come into your kingdom, will you remember me?" Jesus answered him, "Truly I tell you, today you will be with me in paradise." And that's one small part of God's big story.